Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon.
We must show that NATO stands with Ukraine through continuous support to its armed forces and Ukraine's Euro-Atlantic aspirations. In the coming months, one crucial objective will be to substantially increase military support to Ukraine, to ensure deterrence on the ground and to prepare conditions for the future negotiations on peace. Ukraine's power must be significantly strengthened, and it now falls primarily on Europeans and Ukraine's closest neighbors and friends to make it happen. Ukraine also needs our investments in its defense industry. We must shift from reactive aid to solid military support, pre-planned deliveries of long-range artillery, advanced air defense systems, and drone capabilities. We'll still need progress on enhanced EU military support to Ukraine, with the whole goal to supply them with 2 million large-caliber shells.
I would like to start by thanking my friend, President of Lithuania. Another key element of our discussions was strengthening the transatlantic relations and the strategic alliance with the USA. Among our partners in the region, there is a widespread understanding that Europe must take greater responsibility for its own security. But it is critically important to do it not by following mirages of European autonomy, but in close cooperation with the United States. We also had an opportunity to exchange information with President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. During our conversation, we addressed very important issues regarding further support for Ukraine in its fight against Russia, continuing our assistance to Ukraine in various domains, military, political, and humanitarian, is critical to security in Europe and is Ukraine's integrations with Europe and Euro-Atlantic structures, including NATO. Ladies and gentlemen, for me, today's meeting had a special significance, and it was my last opportunity to speak at this forum as President of the Republic of Poland.
It's important to be here in Vilnius today, dear friends, partners. We also talked about our operation inside Russia, which has seriously weakened their military. Operation Spiderweb showed that modern war really looks like and why it's so important to stay ahead with technology. All our joint investments in drone production, all our shared battlefield experience, everything we are doing together with our partners, it's making Europe stronger. Today, we agreed with our partners on several joint decisions that will strengthen our defense even more. I thank everyone for your willingness to help. There will be new packages, there will be new investments in Ukraine's weapon production, especially drones. Ukraine can produce much more, and we see partner investments as a way to give those partners priority access to restock their arsenals after this war. Second, I thank you all for our shared view of what diplomacy needs in order to succeed. Today we see the situation clearly. If Russia turns the Istanbul meeting into an empty talk, there must be a new level of pressure, new sanctions, and not just from Europe. We need to work on joint sanctions at the G7 level, including with the United States and with everyone in the world who wants peace. It's very, very important that each of our partners supports this exact approach. Sanctions against Russia are necessary. It's important to seriously limit Russia's oil trade and its use of tankers. Sanctions, including secondary ones, tariffs and price caps, can work and push Russia toward peace. Without pressure, Putin will just keep playing games with everyone who wants this war to end. Talks in Istanbul just ended, and I'm waiting for the Minister of Mayor full report. They exchanged documents through the Turkish side, and we are preparing an EU release of prisoners of the war. Third, the upcoming NATO summit can strengthen Europe's security, or if it sends the wrong signal, it will only encourage Putin. The key to lasting peace is clear. The aggressor must not receive any reward for war. Putin must get nothing that would justify his aggression. Any reward would only show him that war pays off. Geopolitical gains are just as important to Russia as money or territory. If Putin is allowed to decide who joins NATO, where NATO infrastructure can or can't be, then Russia's appetite for war will only grow. Our shared goal is the opposite, to completely end Russia's hunger for aggression.
The Nordic countries to join you here today in Vilnius. Today's meeting has been...
Since January, I get two questions from European allies. Question one is the US still committed to NATO? The answer is yes. Committed to NATO, committed to Article 5, and this has been many times repeated by President Trump in many meetings. So my only suggestion to many European colleagues is put on your television so that you can hear him say this. Don't ask me, he's very clear about this. But there is an expectation. The expectation is that we are going to spend more, because we need to spend more for our defense. But also it is because it is fair to equalize our spending with the spending the US is doing currently. Second question, but then they will stay, Mark, but they might withdraw their troops all of a sudden. And exactly as President Duda is saying, there's absolutely no indication of this. What we know is that the US, next to Europe, of course, also has to take care of the Middle East, has to take care of the Indo-Pacific, and it is only logical that over time, as we are building up, that the US will pivot somewhat more towards Asia. But I am absolutely convinced that also in the long term, there will be a very strong conventional US presence in Europe. Next to the nuclear presence, the nuclear umbrella, our ultimate guarantor of our freedom, there will be a very strong conventional presence of the US in Europe. There's no doubt about it. Basically referring back to what the two other speakers have been saying.
Thank you. President Zelensky?
I agree with Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, dear friends.
Welcome to being on.